In today's episode, we're going to be looking at NFL coaches whose jobs may or may not be at stake going into 2025. If coaches want job security, they need to produce results, i.e., win more than lose. But sometimes it's not that simple. Each coach we discuss will fall into one of three categories: long shot, probable, and definite. We will also center today's episode on four important questions regarding a coach's job status. Who did they succeed? Are they better or worse than their successor? Is the criticism fair? And what is the expectation for 2025? So without further ado, here we go.
Here we go!
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Welcome to the Views from the Booth podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Barrow. With me is Irving Ravello. Today, we're going to talk some football. And can you believe it, Irving? As of recording this, we are 3 weeks away from Cowboys versus Eagles, which will kick off the 2025 NFL season. Irving, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is it to be a professional football coach?
A football coach, depends who you play for, but I think the stress level has to be 10. It has to be all the way in the
10.
max. You have a lot of responsibilities to carry a team in a way where you have a whole plan and make sure you do it correctly. You also have like at least one shot, really. I mean, some owners will give you maybe more than a year, but we live in an era where coaches will get fired regardless of anything, unless you have a backstory and history of the team. So that's I know that's today's topic, but sometimes it's just you have to build your reputation in this league, and a lot of coaches get cut off before they even have a chance.
Yeah. It's very hard, especially in the internet era, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
People have become less patient and they want results fast. It's what we call a microwave society, I would say.
Yeah.
So for me, 10 is basically you're Donald Trump. You're the president. That's what I think of when I think of the most stressful job, because you basically have the entire country in your hands with the decisions that you make. And it's also up there. Maybe this is a 9. I would probably put this at a 10 as well. Probably police and surgeon. Anything where someone else's lives are in your hands is a 10, I feel like.
Yeah. And
basically, their lives could be lost because of you, and their lives could be saved because of you. And that's, in my opinion, way too much stress to deal with. Football is not quite that stressful, but I would say it's probably one level below. So I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah. No, I always said, especially like you said in social media, like with memes being a big thing, with not even just memes, but like fans, people going irate in the stadiums, like people calling for your job if after a season or even a couple seasons of just pure misery, like fans will out you. I mean, like there's also been many situations, I mean, players would get this too, but also coaches where like opponent fans or fans of these teams would try to find information of these people, like personal information, trying to find out where they live. Like there's so many situations like this. It's really kind of disturbing in a way. At least, I mean, with a doctor, you're saving lives. But, like, for a football coach, everything's out there. Everything, I mean, I'm not saying they're a celebrity per se, but, I mean, the more fans and a lot,
they kind of are.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It depends who you are really as a coach. I mean, like Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, those are the biggest, football coaches of all time during this this time period. And so a lot of their personal, stuff, especially Bill Belichick, is kind of out there in the open. So
for many reasons.
He kind of did it to himself, though.
Absolutely.
That's on him. But
he brought that on himself.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So I think, like, if anyone asked me, would I ever be, like, if I had the chance to be an NFL head coach, I don't think I could. I could.
I'm happy right where I'm at.
Yeah. I think, like, I would love to be on a coaching staff, that's wherever that was ever the case. But unless I'm 100% sure of something, I'm not really going to try to do it,
Yeah, I'm good.
There's so many coaches who still aren't 100%. They still have jobs. So,
yeah.
there's that.
Well, I think that's a beautiful segue. So, as I mentioned before, there are three categories when it comes to coaches whose jobs could be on the line come 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have our first category, which is long shot. We have our second, which is probable. And then we have our third, which is definite. And with each of those categories, with each of the coaches that we're discussing today, we're bringing in four questions. Who did they succeed? Are they better or worse than their successor? Is the criticism fair? And what is the expectation for this season? And so I'm just going to start with long shots. And I think the most appropriate coach that we could start with is none other than Irving's favorite football team's coach, Kevin Stefanski.
Absolutely.
And I'll go ahead and let you I'm sure you have plenty of thoughts, so I'm just going to let you start us off here.
I have a lot of thoughts for Kevin. There is no doubt that I think, and I mean, if there's any Browns fans listening, I think he's one of the best coaches we have this entire century. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, I know his record is not Bill Belichick's or any other like elite NFL head coach in the past, but he has definitely improved in his game. Plus, coming after Freddie Kitchens, which is, we're not going to get into Baker Mayfield. I respect him, but people don't know this, that was actually Baker Mayfield's choice to choose who was going to be the head coach after Hugh Jackson and Mike Williams. I forgot our interim head coach after Hugh Jackson, who we fired. Greg Williams, that's right, Williams. And then we hired Freddie Kitchens, who was a quarterback coach, and we straight up stunk that year. He had 6 wins. I don't know how he got 6 wins that season, but I remember that.
Tough.
Oh, yeah. And we come after that getting Kevin Stefanski, who was an offensive coordinator from the Minnesota Vikings, which it's funny because a lot of we have some funny history with grabbing Vikings players and coaches, like former athletes or coaches from that organization. So Kevin has done an excellent job. Took us to the playoffs twice, won a playoff game. Even though that playoff game he wasn't there, I still give him credit. People forget that when we beat the Steelers in 2020, it was actually our OC was out too. So I believe our special teams coach was actually coaching that game. I believe it was Alex Van Pelt. Not Alex Van Pelt. Someone, I'm thinking of someone else. I gotta look that up real quick. But it was one of our coaches who had to step in while our head coach Kevin and OC was gone. So I give that credit to Kevin, and he managed to still make our team a little bit relevant, despite problems. And last year he didn't have the play calling opportunity like he usually does, and we didn't really do so well when he didn't have that play calling chance. So I don't think Kevin should get fired, despite we have to see how the season looks. Now, if anyone's going to get fired, if it's not Kevin, I mean, I love Andrew Berry, our GM, but I don't know who in the front office has the right mind to give us 5 or 6 current quarterbacks in the roster. That's kind of outrageous. We have so many QBs on our roster right now, and we have to do some cutoffs. But we got to see how Kevin facilitates this team. I'm really curious to see how they're going to put the starter in for the season. Shedeur had a great game against the Panthers last week in preseason. I'm really happy actually about that. But of course, other quarterbacks are going to give it a chance for that. So I just got to see how Kevin's going to do. But I do think. I think if we lose, the reason why it's a long shot is because I think if we still have a losing season, I don't think he's done just yet. He might be on the hot seat for next season, but I do think if it's like 3 games or less, I think he might get fired. But I think we're gonna manage to somehow win. I know there's a lot, but I'm trying to see 7 wins or something like that. Give me hope, Browns. Give me hope. That's all I'm asking for. But yeah, that's my thoughts with Kevin. I mean, we'll see how it goes. What's your thoughts? I mean, from the outside.
So Kevin Stefanski, he's going into year 6. Can you believe it? His first season was back in 2020. He succeeded Freddie Kitchens, the aforementioned Freddie Kitchens. And, when it comes to the question, are they better or worse than their successor? Well, again, like you mentioned before, you said that he might be your best coach this century. I would argue he's probably the best thing to happen to your football team this century. Like when it comes to Do you remember years ago, like a decade ago, when Johnny Manziel was coming out and Skip Bayless claimed that Johnny Manziel was going to be the best thing that ever happened in Cleveland, and that includes LeBron
That's LeBron,
James.
yeah.
See,
That's Skip Bayless, though.
First of all, that was a cold take. We all know that, but I would say it would be LeBron James, and then it would probably be a two-way tie between Baker and Kevin Stefanski. That's how I view it. As far as Cleveland sports goes, because I mean, look, I know you guys have your Indians and you guys, or excuse me, the Guardians. Sorry, forgive me. Forgive me.
You're gonna get canceled for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. First episode and I'm already getting canceled. But yes, even though you guys made the World Series back in 2016, let's be honest, you guys care about football way more than baseball. We all know this.
Yes, but I'll just we're not going to go Cleveland sports topic, but I would even argue if it's LeBron James, the next one is actually Myles Garrett. And then,
Myles Garrett, okay.
And Jose Ramirez. And then I even I think it's a tie between the love that Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay. But I mean, Kevin, he's been really mature with us. He's a really professional head coach. He's not one to kind of lash out on players, or I mean, there's times where I can see him through the screen last season when Deshaun Watson was playing. There's times where I was whatever Stefanski was thinking, I was thinking it too. Like that there were some really god awful games Deshaun Watson had last season in the beginning, and it was just a lot of it was just kind of like, what are you doing kind of moments.
Right.
But that's a topic for another day. Other than that, I think Kevin Stefanski should still have a job at the end of the season. Next season, I can't speak for next season, but I think this season he should have a complete full season to work with.
Yeah. So I had to do a little bit of research when it came to your history of coaches. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So I went as far back. I mean, I went all the way back to the beginning. I went as far back as Paul Brown. And what I noticed is from Bill Belichick to Kevin Stefanski, everybody has had a losing record. Now, if you don't count last season, Stefanski actually has a winning record. And keep in mind, how many games did y'all win? Like 4 or 3?
We won about.
It was one of those two. I
think it was 4 games. I think we won.
It was 4. Yeah. It was 4. So
yeah.
Kevin Stefanski's career record is 40-44. So he is a career 4 games below 500. But you guys lost like 13 games last year. So it's like that kind of pads the stats a little bit when you think about it. So I would most definitely say that he is the best coach that you guys have had this century. And I also noticed something. So assuming he doesn't get fired mid-season, Kevin Stefanski will be the 3rd longest tenured Brown coach in franchise history.
Really?
Behind only
Paul Brown.
Paul Brown, who is the greatest coach in the history of your franchise. The first coach, like, that's your namesake.
Yeah.
And then your second coach, Blanton Collier, who is responsible for your last NFL championship.
Oh, yeah. 1964, I believe. 19-something. Yeah, there's before Super Bowl era, let's just be honest, I'm just going to put this out there. Before Super Bowl era, like, your grandparents, to those who are listening, your great-grandparents.
Yeah, exactly.
The Browns were one of the best teams in football. They were. I mean, I never got to witness that, of course, because I wasn't born, but it just kind of always kind of upsets me. Like, even if you're like the New York Jets, at least you have that one from 1971 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we just never make it happen. We never made it happen to be good during the Super Bowl era. So that's just kind of upsetting. But it is what it is. I don't want to fire Kevin. I'd rather Kevin stay with the team and keep that culture up.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, just in other words, Stefanski is low-key a legend. Like,
yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you say so?
I would say so.
I mean, I still
want more, though.
Here's the thing. Like, there's not many coaches that can do what Stefanski did with your guys' organization. It's not an easy organization to turn around. Like,
No.
there's a reason why this franchise has rotated through so many head coaches over the decades, and it's just with Stefanski. Like, there's finally a sense of stability. I say finally, it's been 6 years, but you know what I mean. Like, compared to the other guys that you have had, like Hugh Jackson and even Bill Belichick. Like, obviously, Bill Belichick has a better resume than Kevin Stefanski, but we're talking about his tenure in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, Stefanski has done more for Cleveland than Belichick ever did. Let's be real.
I'll say that. Bill Belichick never gave it a fair shot because, so for those of you who don't know, our team was sold after we made our last playoff. Not this past season, but 1997, sorry. 1990. We they sold the team to Baltimore, which is now the Baltimore Ravens. So that's, another reason why I hate the Ravens. But that team drafted Ray Lewis, Shannon Sharp, and all those guys. So and Bill Belichick, I forgot where he went afterwards. I think he went to, was it the Dolphins or Bills? He went to or the Jets. He went to another team after the Browns.
Yeah,
I forgot, but yeah,
went to the Jets.
Went to the Jets, per se. Yeah.
He went somewhere in between there. I actually can't remember off the top of my head, but before he was with the Jets for 2 minutes, and then obviously the rest is history.
Oh yeah,
does his thing with New England. But as far as the expectation for this year, you said that your expectation is like hopefully 7 wins, more than what you had last year. I'll say this,
more
like,
than
y'all were at rock bottom last year.
We were. The only thing good was that Jameis Winston snow game against the Steelers.
I really don't think it could get much worse than last year. I really don't.
I hope not.
But as far as like, is it fair whether or not he should get fired? See, here's what I would say. Or excuse me, like, how quickly should he get rehired? Like, I think he should get rehired immediately.
If he gets fired,
immediately,
another team will love to pick him up, and like there should be a team that picks him up if he does get fired. Because I think, and not as OC, as a head coach.
As the head coach, like, forget OC.
Yeah.
Like,
he is already.
That's not his calling anymore.
I think
he waited.
I gotta look at the tree, but he comes from a line of really good offensive mind. The West Coast offense. He falls somewhere between it was Shanahan and Kubiak. Is it Kubiak?
Kubiak, yeah.
That West Coast offense is still the most dominant offense in the league.
Yep, 100%.
A lot of teams use it. Mainly, a lot of the NFC West uses it. A lot of the Cardinals, Rams, they use that offensive mind, and so does Kevin. And Kevin used that in Minnesota too. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I do think I don't want to fire him, but if he ever, worst case scenario, somehow he does, another team will pick him up like ASAP. Right away.
The reason why I feel like it is a possibility that he could get fired. This is the same team that got rid of Baker 1 year after your first playoff win in nearly 2 decades. So it's like it's been 6 years for Kevin Stefanski. Like, how much longer of a leash does he have?
I think with Baker though, that's a whole nother story.
But I mean, I hope he doesn't get fired, because I don't think that you can justify that. But
no.
it's the organization that he's with that's gonna fail him, if anything. The next one, oh man, this next one is very controversial. Mike Tomlin in division. Mike Tomlin. So who did they succeed? Well, the funny thing about the Steelers is they've had 3 head coaches going back to the 70s. They've had Chuck Noll, they've had Bill Cowher, and now they've had Mike Tomlin. So Mike Tomlin is obviously succeeding Bill Cowher, and that was all the way back in 2007. Nearly 20 years. And the question, are they better or worse than their successor? If I didn't do any research, I would have just said, it's got to be Tomlin, right? He's definitely done more than Bill Cowher ever did. Well, after doing some research, I've concluded that Tomlin is not even close to being what Cowher was. So get this, Irving. So it's been 8 years since Mike Tomlin won a playoff game with Pittsburgh. 8. 2016. I was a senior in high school.
Yep. Oh, the Browns won a playoff game more recently than the Steelers have. Just putting that out there. I just gotta put that out there.
Had to throw that out there, didn't you?
Had to. But
had to throw that out there.
We beat them. So, but yes, continue.
But yes, Cowher, he was the head coach of Pittsburgh from 1992 to 2006. He won 12 playoff games. That's 4 more than Tomlin ever won. And Tomlin is still coaching. But get this, Cowher only went 3 seasons without a playoff victory. And Mike Tomlin has double the gap as far as not having a playoff win. I mean, that's a pretty important stat if you ask me. So, in the beginning, did Mike Tomlin live up to or exceed expectations? Yes. Started 5-2 in those 2 Super Bowl years, but lately, there's a lot to be desired. Since that last Super Bowl appearance where they lost to the Green Bay Packers in 2010, they are 3-9 in the playoffs. 3-9. And do you know who those 3 playoff wins are against?
Let me guess. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna try to guess.
Go ahead.
You know what? Yeah. I know one of them was the Dolphins.
Yes,
because one of them I really wanted the Dolphins to beat them, and the other one was the Bengals because of that Vontaze Burfict hit.
Yep.
Hold on. I remember when they lost to the Jaguars. I'm trying to think. What year is it? What year, or does it tell you?
I mean, I know, but I'm not telling you.
It wasn't us. Okay.
Who did they win? These are the 3 playoff wins. So yes, you got it. Bengals, Dolphins. Who else?
I'm gonna go with. It wasn't Broncos.
No.
It wasn't Ravens. Okay, I give up. I thought I had it.
Their last playoff win. This is their last playoff.
This
win.
is the. Oh wait.
The very last one.
Yeah, I give up.
Chiefs. Pre-Mahomes. Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Okay, was this 2014 or 2015?
This was 2016.
2016. Okay.
This was 2016, and they scored 6 field goals.
And they somehow won.
That's how they won. No touchdowns, nothing. We're just going to score 6 field goals on the road.
That's their last 3 playoff. Wow.
Loudest stadium in the NFL, and that's it.
Well, the funny thing with that is that, Chiefs were like in purgatory for the longest because they were always a wild card exit, like for the longest.
Right.
Run. Same thing with the Bengals too. They went to 5 straight wild card games, lost them. But with Mike Tomlin, people would argue. I've talked to Steelers fans because actually Steelers fans are kind of fun to talk to because I'm a Browns fan, so I accept the fact that yes, they do own us, whatever. You might as well have fun with it. But of course, a lot of them, majority of Steelers fans want Tomlin gone. From what I'm hearing, they want Tomlin gone.
They should.
And
They should.
Well, they should. Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind that because he owns us. I just checked his record against us. His record against the Browns is 26-7-1. So I wouldn't mind if he has gone. Now, I would say in most recent history, we have managed to at least beat him once this season, here and there. But like the beginning of his tenure, he dominated us. But also another thing is that they Bill Cowher, right, the head coach before. A lot of people would say that 2009 Super Bowl Steelers is technically not really Tomlin's. It's kind of like a Tony Dungy situation to where that was really Bill Cowher's team.
Oh, that's
and
a
Tom.
take.
Well, no, a lot of Steelers fans would tell me that. Now, I would also say, well, if you manage to do a full season, with the team, and even though it's the players and the culture from another coach, hey, a Super Bowl is a Super Bowl. So I'll give you that. But majority of Steelers fans in the past I've talked to since I was in middle school, I kid you not, Johnny, they want Tomlin gone. I've had friends, I've known people from I think the last 10 years, they wanted Mike Tomlin gone.
Dang.
But I think it was really what really elevated the most was that 2017 Patriots AFC Championship game, which, by the way, when any of my division rivals are playing in a championship game to go to the Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the other team. So
Of course.
I don't care that Patriots
That's the way.
When Patriots had that dynasty, I didn't care about the dynasty. I wanted the Patriots to beat the Steelers. The same reason a couple years ago I wanted the Chiefs to beat the Ravens. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't want to see the Ravens win. So I don't care if this was like the 10 Chiefs going for the 10th Super Bowl. I still want them to beat the Ravens. I kid you not. That's how much I don't like my rivals. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh,
with-
100%.
So, like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm the
Yes.
same. If you're not, I think the true sports fans, the true football fans, you wouldn't care like you would care seeing your division rivals win. I don't want them to win at all. I don't care. So, with that being said, for Mike Tomlin, it's if I were to say is he more likely, I think they're really waiting until you go to under 500. They are waiting for that. They are waiting for him to go to under 500, which for the last couple years, for the longest time, I've been saying that they might, and I think I gave up 3 years ago. Like they're gonna somehow magically go 9-7, and or a little win more. I don't know. But then there's some fans I've talked to that said they think this is the year where they finally go under 500. They might get a top 10 draft pick is what they want. You know, that's what a lot of them are kind of saying. They're saying rebuild. I'm just looking forward for this Aaron Rodgers show because, hey, that I have a funny feeling he's going to blow up that locker room. I wouldn't root for people's, for people's careers to be ruined. Aaron's a different kind of animal. However, as much as I, want him to succeed, at least not with the Steelers, I have a feeling his ego is going to get the best of him. Mike Tomlin might not even have the locker room. He might have it. I think some of the young players who have the respect, but there's a lot of old heads in that locker room that might think otherwise. And will Tomlin control that locker room? I don't know. But what I will say for sure is that I think if they go under 500, Johnny, Mike Tomlin's out. I'm gonna call my shot. However, if they go over 500, then I think he stays somehow. But
that is the only reason why he is a long shot.
Yeah,
is the possibility of how he gets fired, and that is I agree with you 100%. They are just waiting for him to have his first losing record, just to say,
they're gonna fire him.
All right, we're done.
And I think it'd be funny, but I think it's going to happen. Also, I'll say this, though. I think the AFC North is one of the hardest divisions in football, alongside the NFC East, of course. But the AFC North is really random. You have,
in a way,
Ravens, you have Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and the Bengals. You never know what that team's going to do. I've said this joke before. The Bengals could score 90 points, and their opponent could score 91 because their defense is that bad. I said, and I think I told this to you too. If Bengals or Browns combine the teams, that'd be a really great team. But other than that, Steelers.
That's very true.
Steelers could really win. We have to look at their record, and I think we'll do that with the next coach of their schedule. But if Mike Tomlin has a losing record, he's out.
So the last one, I should say, on the long shot list is Sean McDermott from Buffalo, and who are they succeeding? He is succeeding Rex Ryan back in 2017. He's been with the team since 2017. That's 8-9 seasons, if my math is correct. Are they better or worse than their successor? Well, I think I would make an argument that he is the best coach that they have had since Marv Levy, which shout out Marv Levy. Marv Levy, he just turned 100 this month.
Is this the coach of the 90s Bills?
This is the coach of the 90s Bills.
Yes,
the 90s Bills that made the Super Bowl four years
times
in a row
and lost
somehow managed to lose all four. That is a skill that I don't think any other team is capable of.
That is tough.
Except for Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota lost 4 in a row, or it was 4 in 6 years.
They won 4. They lost 4. Yeah, I have a friend who's a huge Vikings fan.
Aiden.
Aiden Lieberman. Shout out to him.
Aiden.
But he definitely has told me about his tenure. Which that's another topic. Would I rather go to the Super Bowl but lose multiple times, or never make the Super Bowl but never lost them? So
right. So yeah, as far as how successful he's been, obviously, when Sean McDermott took over, I think people tend to forget how do I say this? How down bad or how bad down? Something like that. How bad the Bills were, the state of the Bills organization was before he got there. They had the longest active playoff drought of any team in the league before he got there. And they made the playoffs immediately. And they've only missed the playoffs once since he became the head coach. And that 1 year just so happened to be Josh's rookie year. And fast forward, Josh Allen is the defending MVP, and one could make an argument at the very least the third best quarterback in the NFL. I think everyone would be in agreement there. He is a top 3 quarterback. So what is the expectation this year? Well, when you have a quarterback that's as good as Josh Allen and your organization has done as well as they have in almost 10 years, I would say the expectation is Super Bowl. But not just Super Bowl. I mean, in order to get to the Super Bowl, you kind of have to get past one team.
Yeah.
You got to get past the Chiefs first, which is easier said than done because they've played against, I mean, we just mentioned, like, they somehow made the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and somehow managed to lose all 4 of those games. They've played against the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs, 4 times, and they have lost all 4 times.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just that they've lost, it's the fact that they've lost, and the biggest problem has been the defense, which is Sean McDermott's background. Like, that's a cause for concern that his side of the ball has been the biggest liability. And we've talked about this before, but 9 stops against Mahomes in 4 combined playoff games, 9 stops for the Eagles in the last Super Bowl alone. So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think this is kind of like, I think there's a lot worse than Sean McDermott. In my mind, Sean McDermott is a top 10 coach. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I think as like, I don't even know, is Mike Tomlin a top 10 coach anymore? Maybe he just needs a divorce from Pittsburgh. Kevin Stefanski, I feel like you could definitely make the argument, but Sean McDermott, I would absolutely take at least 3/4 of the league. I think he is better than.
He's a top 5 coach if you think about it.
Yeah, you could make that argument.
So,
You could make that argument.
I think another big thing too with Sean McDermott, which I'm a big fan of that and the Bills culture. Like, look, I'm a big Browns fan. Like, but if there was a team that, like, if they're in the playoffs and my team wasn't, and you just kind of you want the best, for me it's the Bills. The Bills succeeding. Josh Allen is such a cool guy. He's married to Haley Steinfeld. Like, the whole culture where they sing Mr. Brightside at games. It's I think a really cool thing that they do that. The Bills have one of the best. No, they have the best tailgating outside of the stadium ever. You've just seen the videos, but that's the culture. Sean McDermott, hear me out. Sean McDermott reminds me of later Andy Reid with the Chiefs tenure. I just pulled this record up, by the way. Andy Reid really had to go through the dynasty of the Patriots, and he managed to somehow he never really beat the Patriots, right? But, of course, the Patriots got dismantled, and he overtook that crown.
Right.
I think with Sean's case, I just did this record right away. Sean McDermott's record right now is 86-45. His playoff record is 7-7. Andy Reid's head coach from 2013 to 2020, and I did 2020 because that was before they won their Super Bowl.
Right.
Their record was 77-36. So not much of a huge difference. So when I think of that, I think of Sean McDermott, like you said, is the best head coach of the Bills since remind me of his name again.
Marv Levy.
He really changed the culture. I think the Bills organization will have to be idiots to fire him. I think, like, it's a long shot, but I think this is a super, super long shot. I don't think his name should ever be part of a fire discussion, of course. I mean, even if there's a season full of injuries and the Bills can't do much, even then, because that's just something you can't control. I think you just have to get over that hump. The Bills have to get over that kryptonite that the Chiefs are to them and manage to still overcome that. And I root for them to hopefully win that illustrious championship. The weirdest game I've seen from them, though, was that divisional game a couple years ago where they lost to the Bengals. Because I actually had them favored in, because that was such like an out of like character game from both Sean and Josh. Like, I really expected the Bills to try to like do it one more time, but the Bills and Chiefs, almost like the modern day Colts and Patriots from the early 2000s. Yeah, they keep going head to head, and I really root for them to beat the Chiefs in a way because I just we like to see changes. Of course, everyone knows that psycho sports. You root for the underdog, and then when the underdog wins a lot of championships, you get annoyed at them, and then you want to lose. So that's just how it goes. But with the Bills, Sean should not be fired in the next 3 years, in my opinion. Unless he's
Really?
if not more. Because hear me out. I think unless he has back-to-back really bad seasons with no excuses, when team is not injured, he should be able to still manage to do a lot more in the future. But I do think he's not in the Mike Tomlin seat in a way. So I think if he just somehow still wins games, if he could somehow still make him and his team irrelevant throughout the playoffs, hopefully get that Super Bowl, if not more, in the future. But I think in 3 years plus, let's just say maybe by the end of this decade, if they're kind of in purgatory state where they're winning enough games but not doing enough to win it, then that's when you have that conversation. But as of right now, I don't think he should be in the conversation at all to be in the hot seat at all. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
So if, let's say, they play the Chiefs, or let's say even they finally play the Bengals again in the playoffs, if they allow, we'll get into that later when we do our
the battle of the bad defenses. Let's go head to head
when we do our predictions later, which 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, we'll see. But let's say they're in a playoff game and they lose and they allow 30 points. You don't think Sean McDermott is going to be – you don't think he should be worried?
Maybe, but I think he has every right to be worried. However, I do think the front office shouldn't fire him after that game. No, that's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't think they should fire him either, but I won't be shocked if, like I said, last year, the reason I said 30 is because I don't think the Chiefs scored 30 points all year long, even though they went 16-1 last year. They didn't score 30 points once until the AFC Championship game against Buffalo. And so, yeah, I think you got to get your side of the ball right.
Yeah, absolutely.
In order for me to still believe that you can lead this team, because I know Josh is going to do his thing. I know he is. I know exactly what he's capable of. He is that dude.
Yeah.
I know he's capable of winning a Super Bowl. But
I agree with that. Someone on First Take, I forgot his name, said that. Molly Krum asked, "Who do you give a 1 out of 10? Out of 1 out of 10, how much would you give Josh Allen a chance to win the Super Bowl?" Some guy who got paid to be on the show to say a 1. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. I give Josh Allen a higher chance, maybe because I'm a hater, than Lamar Jackson. In my opinion, I think Patrick Mahomes, you have him right there. Of course, I know people will say other things, but otherwise, they're still the AFC champion for the last 5 years ish. So I'll give Josh Allen the benefit of the doubt that if there's an award for second place of more likely to take a team to the Super Bowl in the AFC, it would be Josh Allen.
All right, moving on now to our second category of coaches under pressure this year. We're going into the probable category, and the first coach that I wanted to discuss is the Arizona Cardinals' Jonathan Gannon, who has been with the team since 2023. He was previously the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles that same year that they made the Super Bowl, and he is also succeeding Cliff Kingsbury. So are they better or worse than their successor? And for most of these questions, I would say it's hard to make a proper evaluation. Just if he's lived up to his expectations or if he's disappointed. Because honestly, I just think a large part of it is the organization. A large part of it is the players. This guy's defense in Philadelphia was stacked. They led the league in sacks when he was the defensive coordinator. And the very next year, you saw that defense take a huge drop off when Sean Desai became the DC and eventually Matt Patricia. that was that was a boneheaded move. I don't know what led the Eagles to do that, but I mean, of course, they got the last laugh. They won the Super Bowl the very next year.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jonathan Gannon, there's only so much you can do when you're the head coach of the Cardinals. You don't have many stars on defense, and your
Budda
quarterback, Budda Baker. Yes, Budda Baker
That's
is an above average safety. I'll give you that, but he's an above average safety. But you've got no stars along the defensive line. At least, I mean, I know they drafted a guy last year, and he wasn't healthy for the most part. Now they did get Josh Sweat, who Jonathan Gannon is reuniting with. He was on that Eagles defensive line both that year Jonathan Gannon was there, and obviously last year, like he was part of that wrecking crew that made Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl a nightmare.
Yeah,
absolutely. Put a stop to that three-peat.
Not one blitz in that Super Bowl.
Not one blitz, and Josh Sweat got a very, very nice payday this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets to reunite with his coach, Jonathan Gannon. And, you know, I would say that the defense is starting to look like what Jonathan Gannon wants it to look like, which is what he had in Philadelphia. And, you know, you watch, I don't know how much Cardinals football you've watched over the last couple of years.
Not a lot.
But, I mean, compared to what I noticed when Cliff Kingsbury was last there, it's drastically different. Like
the culture,
the cultures and the way they play football, they're tough. And I mean, toughness is what wins in this league. And I think they're highly competitive. Like you watch any game, even if they're supposed to be a big underdog, you just expect a lot of fight in them. They're kind of like almost like Eric Spoelstra's Heat. Like even
I see what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like down to the final minute, they could be down 20. They're not giving up.
Yeah,
they're just not going to give up. Now the biggest issue that I would say this season, if I'm going to be honest, is less about Jonathan Gannon and more about Kyler Murray. We'll touch on that maybe in the next few weeks, but I think if there's pressure on anybody, it shouldn't be on Jonathan Gannon. He's setting the culture. He's getting his players now. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, locker room loves him. The league, all these assistant coaches throughout the league, they love Jonathan Gannon. They respect the heck out of him. So I don't think that he deserves to get fired, but I mean, I put him in probable because it is the Cardinals and Michael Bidwell. I wouldn't put it past him to make a bad decision.
Yeah,
I would not.
Yeah.
So,
well,
as far as is the criticism fair? I think it's just hard to make a proper evaluation at this point.
Can you remind me of why Cliff Kingsbury depart from the Cardinals? Was it 2 years ago?
Yes, it was 2022 was his last season, and
what was the reason for that?
Oh, well, they were terrible. They were terrible.
They were terrible, but there was that one season when they went like 7-0. Like they had a pretty decent.
They lost the
playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs that year, did they?
Yeah. Well, they did. They did actually. This is actually the only time that Cliff Kingsbury made the playoffs, and it's their only playoff appearance since
2015. Since Carson Palmer.
You're right.
I remember that.
I was trying to think, like, is it really that long ago? It's 2015.
Because I remember 2015 was also the weird year of where the Cardinals were good, and Carson Palmer actually they made it to the NFC Championship game but lost to Cam Newton and the Panthers. But so Cliff they had a terrible year after that 1 year. If we look at successor, it's one of those situations where you're trying to. And this is what his second year or third year in this with the Cardinals.
This is his third year.
Kyler Murray, yes. Like he's the number one guy who has a lot to prove in that organization. I give him 1 more year.
Yes.
One more year.
Absolutely.
One more
Absolutely.
year, even though his record is 12-22. I'm reading that right now. We'll see how that goes. But Cliff wasn't that really great at all. Cliff in his like 3 years, or was it 3 years tenure? He was 28, 37, and 1. So I mean, he's doing slightly better-ish than Cliff. But the thing with Jonathan is that he's a defensive mind coach. There's a weird thing that I have, and I can ask you this question: if you were to rebuild your team, would you rather get a DC or OC minded person to start your team?
Oh, OC.
Absolutely.
OC all day.
Bingo. Yeah,
All set.
that's with me. Because there's some weird, like, not a glitch, but like, where a lot of defensive coordinators who try to make it out to be a head coach, granted, unless you're, Bill Belichick was defensive minded, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so was Nick Saban.
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
more times than not, OC, like Kyle Shanahan, for example, Andy Reid, like, offensive minded like head coaches is what I prefer to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Robert Saleh with the Jets. Like, there's just when he came from the Niners, and now he's back to the Niners. But
yeah,
it's one of those things where the culture of the league these days, I don't know if the organization is gonna, like, if they lose, I think if they only win 3 games, I think he has a chance to be fired at the end. But I think they're going to give him a chance. It depends how the situation is, because I think we should probably look at this one day of the players' AP polls of teams. I've heard Cardinals is actually not that good of an organization anyways.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's kind of like what the Commanders were back like years ago. Remember when they were protesting to get the owner to sell the team? And now the coach is kind of different with the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those things with the Cardinals. We got to see if they want to change it, and if Jonathan Gannon's going to like move forward with that. But he doesn't. At the same time, it's life is unfair. You have to work with what you have and seeing
Right.
that what he has. Even if he gets fired, it is what it is. But I think if he were to get at least 6 to 7 wins, I think he's managed to still have a job by the end for next season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts on that.
Moving on now to the next coach in our probable category, and it is Shane Steichen from the Indianapolis Colts. And he also came from Philadelphia. He was on that same Super Bowl losing team back in 2022. He was the offensive coordinator. He's replacing Frank Reich, who was there for a little bit in Indianapolis, had minor success over there. So I would say, obviously right now it's too early to tell if he's going to be better than Frank Reich or not. But as far as is the criticism fair and should he be on the hot seat, completely unfair. If your analysis on Shane Steichen the last 2 years is that he's a bad coach, I just don't. I think you and I are watching football a little bit differently, because they went 9-8 last year. They went 9-8 his first year, 8-9 last year, and that is with some of the worst quarterback play that I've seen in my life.
To go back
in
on
my
that,
life,
yeah. Joe Flacco, shout out to him, and Anthony Richardson, shout out Gators fans. I think the biggest question is that this reminds me of something. And when Shane was the offensive coordinator at the Eagles, right?
yes.
So I'm sure he has a good game plan, every week he managed to still be like 8-9 wins. I mean, you don't make the playoffs, but that's still somewhat impressive to coach a new team and still kind of be at least moderate. So
Yeah.
I was so confused last year when Anthony Richardson was just like, in one of the games, I forgot which game it was, where he was just like, I'm too tired. I'm going to sit out. You know what that tells me, Johnny Barrow?
What's that tell?
Does Shane Steichen? Did I say his last name right?
Steichen. I know,
Does
it's
Shane
hard.
Steichen, does he have control of his locker room?
Mm.
That's
a fair point.
That's a fair, right? Because look, if I'm head coach of a team and my young rookie quarterback is too tired to play, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, to me, what that tells me from the organization, and if you're the front office, I can only imagine how upset they were when that happened. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't sick. Nothing personal was going on. He was too tired to continue playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and when there's a lot of players in this league, a lot of people who want to get drafted and have a roster to be on, And for that guy to kind of, I mean, that's why I'm kind of like, I'm not trying to hate on Anthony Richardson. It kind of loses a little bit of respect in a way as a player. I'm not a player, but like as someone who watches the game, of course, I mean, I can't really, I'm not at their level, of course, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, does Shane have control of the locker room and the team? And maybe, and who knows, maybe they talk things afterwards in this offseason. I give Shane, I don't think Shane is not that likely to get fired. I think if he stays moderate, it gets better. But it depends if how the record goes. I think if they like win less than 5 games, I think there's a talks where he could be on the hot seat for that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The only problem is like they've been sub 500 and they finished second in the AFC South each of the last 2 years. And, you know, most coaches would finish fourth with Anthony Richardson's play. I'll say that. And you think about what has made Shane Steichen a successful coach. What led to him becoming the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts? Well, back in 2020, he was the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. He got to coach Justin Herbert, who had the greatest, at that point, it was one of the greatest rookie seasons we had ever seen. Like pre-CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels, like what Justin Herbert did his rookie year was absolutely phenomenal. And then fast forward the next year, he became the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, and he started coaching Jalen Hurts. And at first, he was not calling the plays. It was Nick Sirianni, and Philadelphia's offense wasn't doing much throughout the season. And so one day, Nick Sirianni was like, hey, Steichen, I think it's best that you take over now. And once that happened, Philadelphia's offense soared. And the very next year, they were arguably the best offense in the NFL, aside from the Chiefs, and made the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts finished second in MVP voting, and that is ultimately what led to Shane Steichen's hiring in Indy. And so what I noticed when comparing Herbert, Hurts, and Richardson, Herbert was an experienced starter in college. He started all 4 years. He did not come out his junior year, shockingly. He would have been the first quarterback off the board if he had come out his junior year. He would have gone before Kyler Murray. I truly believe that. He stayed another year, and so he started for 4 years. Jalen Hurts was in college for 4 years. The third year is crazy because obviously he spent the majority of the third season on the bench due to Tua beating him out for the starting job. We all know about that. And the following year, he obviously transfers to Oklahoma and puts together a Heisman contending season. And then the very next year gets drafted in the second round, which at the time that was a reach. Turned out to be wrong. But yeah, we're talking about 2 guys that were very experienced coming out of college. And then you have Anthony Richardson, who is more talented, has a much more physically imposing profile than both guys. And Richardson started 15 games in college. It's hardly over a season. And he goes into the NFL. Great for him. Like, obviously, he goes top 5, and that's phenomenal because when you go top 5, you're guaranteed a lot of money coming out. But there's a reason why quarterbacks with his level of experience haven't worked out. So, yeah, I think about when it comes to who deserves the blame for why the Colts have fallen short. Like, it's Anthony Richardson. Shane Steichen doesn't deserve any of this heat. They've gone sub 500, and the first year, 9-8. It was literally one drive. All it took was one drive, and they would have won the AFC South. And guess what? CJ Stroud wouldn't have made the playoffs his rookie year. And last year with Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco, you go 8-9. Like, there's worse records out there. Like, the Browns went, 4-13, 5-12 last year with Kevin Stefanski? And Kevin Stefanski, I mean, bless his heart, he can only do so much when that's what his offense looks like. But Shane Steichen, I mean, this is a decent offensive roster. Like all it has to, if he could just get the quarterback play to be average, they could be a 10-win team. Now, 10 wins doesn't necessarily guarantee you a playoff spot, but I mean, it certainly would secure his job. Am I being fair?
I think you're being fair. A lot of coaches, they get the disadvantage of getting chewed out more than the players do.
Right.
There's a lot of scenarios where that happens, and you like. Yes, you should have control of your locker room, but a lot of players' egos are kind of like, I'm going to do what I want, and that can make the coach look really bad. Mm-hmm. So we just got to kind of see how the season goes for Shane. But I do think Shane has another year in him, regardless of anything. And like if Anthony, like if it's publicly, like virally, like if things go out about Anthony, I think the organization, if they're smart, they'll know. It's not you, Shane. I understand that. We'll keep you around for another season, kind of thing. But I mean, and by the way, for the next topic, for our next coach, I want to let you know, and I wanted your thoughts about him, because I think he's like to me, it's really funny that he still has a job in Illinois, because I know a lot of hometown fans want him gone, and that goes to no other Mr. Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, of course, with Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians.
2020. I think.
Well, 2020.
He's one of those decent. Can you imagine? And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not trying to make the Bucs fans salivate over thoughts about this, but if Tampa Bay had an offensive-minded head coach, you guys would be a really great team. And I've said that. Todd Bowles is holding you guys back, and I've seen it, and I've seen it during the game. I've seen their primetime games, and it is what it is.
Oh man!
But I'm gonna that's my thoughts. I think Todd. I think if they're mid, right? Well, I think even a wild card exit. I think
wild card exit, absolutely.
I think anything a wild card exit, unless
please go.
You guys have to get someone else.
Oh man, where do I start? Yeah, so he is, of course, coming in succession for Bruce Arians, who, not surprisingly, he and Brady, it's been reported, he and Brady did not get along very well while Brady was there. And so Bruce Arians retires, Todd Bowles comes in, and, he's obviously not better than him. Like, Todd Bowles was on that Super Bowl winning roster, but he wasn't the coach that led them there. It was Bruce Arians. Like he was a piece of the puzzle. That was him. That was Todd Bowles. Fantastic defensive coordinator. But as far as being in charge of the whole team, he has proven to not be fit for that role, I would say. And is the criticism fair? It's absolutely fair. Now, they've made the playoffs every year. The first year was 8-9. We made the playoffs with an 8-9 record. And for those of you who don't know, my two favorite teams are Tampa Bay and Dallas. And I call the game between Tampa Bay and Dallas the Bodacious Bowl. And so that when Tampa and Dallas played in the Bodacious Bowl playoff edition in 2022, it was not pretty. It was not a pretty game.
Shout out to your kicker.
Shout out to the kicker.
I'll never forget that.
I was thinking the same thing.
I forgot his name because I saw that game
I didn't know if you remembered.
No, I saw that game live. I remember because I was in the comfort of my home. The Browns had a really bad season. I was really just annoyed with the Browns. I was like, all right, let's just watch Bucs and Cowboys. And with the first kicker, and this is me as a spectator watching this, the first kick he missed, it happens. That's annoying. Second kick he missed at the extra point. I was kind of like, okay, all right. You guys get another touchdown. Third kick, I'm like, this is hilarious. What is going on? And I believe I was texting you throughout that game after the third miss. I think I definitely texted you because I'm just like, are you watching this? Really, I know you were watching it. And then I forgot his name, the kicker. When he missed that fourth
Brett Maher.
Bro.
Brett Maher.
And I heard he was good all season.
He was great.
Until that. And
He was fantastic.
And that extra point, the fourth time he missed it, oh man, I was laughing. I remember like dying laughing when I saw that. Like, this is hilarious. I mean, you guys won. Cowboys won that game, but I mean, if you're Tom Brady in the Bucs, how do you lose to that? I'm sorry.
that
one
will
of those
go
things.
down. That will go down in the books as Tom Brady's last playoff appearance.
Yeah,
and last game.
Last
game, actually.
they had everything they could to try to win, and it was a home game for the Bucs. So, right? Yeah, it was.
And it's even crazier. Tom Brady had never lost to Dallas regular season or the playoffs
Until that moment.
Until that game.
It only gets bodacious from that.
So, real quick, I just let's just put the finish. I don't even know if I have time to. That we'll settle that for another day.
I know.
I have thoughts on Todd Bowles. have. Oh, dude.
We'll have a 2-hour Todd Bowles ranting session for you.
No, absolutely. Like, oh man, dude, if only you could hear this. I really need to get this out, but I need time to be able to share this because I feel very strongly about this.
Oh,
man.
I know, absolutely.
But yes, let's move on to the definite category. Let's try and rip through these because I mean, and we don't really need to spend much time on these guys because there's a reason why we left these guys for last. We all know who they are. Now, this first one might be a surprise to some, but for me, I think it's as simple as miss the playoffs, you're out. And that's Zach Taylor from the Cincinnati Bengals. He has been with the team since 2019. He is succeeding Marvin Lewis, who was with the team for far too long. He was with the team for far too long. We've heard Stephen A. rant about how they went 0-7 in the playoffs, and somehow this man was still the head coach of the team. That will never happen again. 0-7 in the playoffs, and you still have your job. Like I don't even know how an organization has the audacity to do that to their fan base.
It's tough. And the funny thing is, Zach, I didn't say this about Mike Tomlin, but it's one of those things where do I want them gone? But as a Browns fan, I kind of want them to stay. I do.
Of course you
now,
do.
People, we want the best. And the funny thing is, people say that about Mike McCarthy, by the way. But Zach Taylor, I think, hear me out. I think if the Bengals suck, if they go to their 0-2, 0-3 start like they kind of always do,
Every year.
Out. And they lose
every year.
They lose to the Browns twice this year, right? Look, that first one.
Once. I'll give you the first one. I'll give you the first one.
The first one isn't that bad. It's week 1. It's in Cleveland, and
yes.
2 years ago it was the same thing, and we beat them. So Browns are the Browns, but however, atmosphere is everything, and of course, Joe Burrow and the defense might have the jitters. So amazing Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor. The reason why I think he also won't get fired, I think it's kind of definite. It's if they do really bad. He has been to the Super Bowl. He has beat the Chiefs here and there. Hear me out. Which is, I think, look, as a Bengals fan, if there is I'm not a Bengals fan, but for the Bengals fans, I think they want him gone. But me as a Browns fan, I kind of want him to stay, but also he's not. He has somewhat of a reputation of being, at least he used to. I don't know. It's hard to say. To me, it's definite, but I don't think that he's as definite as the next two. But for him,
definitely not.
No,
I'll give you that.
So,
but
yeah, I'll say your piece.
But still, you have it. There's a reason why I said most people will say Josh Allen is the second best quarterback. There's a reason why I said at least 3. I think Joe Burrow is easily number 2. I do.
We have to debate for another time.
He first of all, he made the Super Bowl, and if they made the playoffs last year, Joe Burrow absolutely wins MVP. That is the only reason why he did not win MVP.
His defense sold on him a lot.
His defense sold so bad. And, I mean, dude, you missed the playoffs 3 years in a row when you have a quarterback that good. Yeah. That good. Like, this is a quarterback who should have won the Super Bowl 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He should already have it locked up. Like
That was a
we should
weird
be
one
talking.
too. That Rams and Bengals was such a random one in a
It,
way.
it was so good though.
It was good.
It was a beautiful Super Bowl.
Also,
I love
that T. Higgins touchdown should have been called back, but
We all know
Yeah,
it should have been called
yeah,
bad, but
absolutely.
that's besides
but that's
the
good.
point.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bottom
yeah,
line.
Zach Taylor, you got to be gone. If you go 9-8, 8-9, and miss the playoffs,
Again.
like I'm sorry, but there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no excuse, in my opinion.
I agree.
There's no excuse.
I agree. And for the next guy too, I think he should have been. I think he should have been gone last year. Actually,
Wow,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think after last year, look,
Oh, wow.
we love the memes of Mr. Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. Look, he's cool. He's a young guy. I've actually read an article about his story. I think he is prominent to be some type of coach and a staff, in the league, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
However, I actually think if he does get fired from the Dolphins and if he leaves, it's beneficial to him because I think Miami's not exactly the best organization either.
No, no.
They twist your mind because it's Miami and it's the Dolphins. It's not the 70s anymore. This Dolphins team and the organization is kind of different than what it was a long time ago. So
yeah, haven't won a playoff game since I believe 2000.
I don't know what's going on with Tua. I've always said Jalen Hurts was better than Tua since college.
Mhm.
The whole thing with Tua,
Wow.
I've definitely said that for like.
Wow.
I remember when Tua won when they were fighting for that job, I was kind of like, okay, well, I still think Jalen.
I do now. I
Yeah.
believe it now.
I mean, one of them has
I
a Super
believe it
Bowl.
now.
Didn't Jalen have to save Tua in the national championship game?
He didn't. No. So
Well,
Tua saved Jalen, but
Jalen,
the following
year.
year Tua got hurt with the ankle injury.
And then Jalen managed
in the
to- okay.
SEC championship.
Well, with
Yeah.
that being said, I still think Jalen's over. Like Tua, I don't know what's going on with his play. Tyreek Hill, I'm pretty sure he does regret taking the bag instead of leaving the Chiefs. But
Yeah, bad,
him leaving
bad
the Chiefs
decision.
kind of made it's so funny when Tyreek Hill left the Chiefs. A lot of us fans thought, okay, maybe the Chiefs won't be as good. They still managed to win 2 more Super Bowls somehow. And for Mike McDaniel, I mean, I think if like it, I don't want to say during the season because he's a great guy, but it's one of those things where I think the Dolphins organization might pull the trigger if they were under 500 by the middle of the season. I think that's my take on that.
They're at 500.
If they're below 500,
Below.
I think they pull the trigger before
Yeah.
middle of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree there. Yeah, you can't go at 500
Mhm.
anymore with the 17 games that
No.
season. Well, it'll be 18. It'll be 18 here pretty soon now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe not next year, but 2 years from now, absolutely lock it in.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we'll be back to finishing 500, and you already know Mike Tomlin loves the idea of that.
Absolutely.
To preserve that record of his.
Yeah. That's true.
But yes.
Mhm.
Oh man. And the one that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
We all knew it was coming. We all knew who is the culprit for the guy who is under the most heat, the most pressure going into 2025.
Yeah.
It's the guy coaching the New York Football Giants, Brian Daboll. We all know why. We all know.
I knew he was mediocre from the beginning. No. Well, hear me out. He doesn't have
Maybe not from the beginning.
not from the beginning.
but
He doesn't have the best roster. He never really had the best roster to have. Daniel Jones to me was never that good of a quarterback. Giants sold in that organization when they thought they can go full on with Daniel Jones and not Saquon. Of course, that led to I truly think if Eagles won the Super Bowl, and it's a big part to Saquon Barkley. So every Eagles fan thank the Giants for that. But other than that, Brian Daboll. Look, I don't watch too much Giants football, but what I do know is that a lot of mediocre seasons is going to try to leave you behind. I think this guy. I think middle of the season, bad record. Again, I think he gets the trigger, and I think he gets fired middle of the season if they are terrible.
Listen,
I think so.
I've looked at New York's schedule.
Tough.
It's brutal.
Brad,
It's really
what are
bad.
the divisions they play?
Oh man, it is bad,
Yeah.
bro. Oh,
Did we play them? Did the Browns play them?
I think. Wait.
Let me double check.
I know they play. See, I know they play the Patriots on Monday night, but I don't think they play the AFC East.
They have
So
they have a primetime game. I know the Browns doesn't have a primetime.
I know,
game. Why
right?
the
Well,
Giants get one?
because it's New York, of course.
Okay.
It's the New York media. That's the only reason why.
I see it right now. Oh God.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, let's just hammer them out.
It's bad.
Look, I can
man.
tell you right now. I'm gonna go through week 10.
No. Hear me out
Yeah.
real quick. No, I'm in a group chat with some guys, and I actually convinced myself. I think the Giants will be decent this year. I could see them like being like sub 500, 9-8, and I mean, literally, maybe a couple days later, I looked at their schedule. I'm like, yeah, just disregard everything that I just said because they
everything.
are cooked.
They have
They
the
are so cooked.
Commanders, the Cowboys at Dallas, where Dallas fans are going to be rushing out to AT&T Stadium like they do every year.
Of course,
Yeah.
every
And
home game.
They have the Chiefs at home, but Chiefs are going to. They have the Chargers. Harbaugh's
that's
going to win
bad.
that. Here's one where they could win. New Orleans. They have the Saints week 5.
They could.
But that's the battle of the really bad. So, then they have the Eagles. They're losing that. They got the Denver Broncos. They're going to be in Denver. They will be losing that. I think so.
That's a tough defense.
We'll do team predictions, record predictions too, the future. But like for the Giants,
Yeah.
because I'm watching or I'm looking at it right now. That's. I mean, they have after Denver, they have Philly again. They have San Francisco. Then they have, and here's one where I think maybe they could lose, but in a funny old fashion. And they have the Bears. I mean, you never know, but
You never know. Yeah, I'm with
they
you.
have the Packers. That's a loss. They have the Lions. That's a loss. They have the Patriots. We got to see how the Drake.
Loss.
You think so? Well,
Absolutely.
the Commanders again.
Mike Vrabel all day,
Yeah,
man.
he's a good coach. Can't wait
Give
to see
me
what he's
Mike
going to do. Mike Vrabel will probably outcoach Dable too. I can test it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the Commanders, the Vikings, the Raiders, they might not even win 3 games. This might be a 2-win team.
I'm telling
This is
you.
bad.
I'm telling
Well,
you.
if you're a Giants fan, I apologize.
I mean, 5 wins max.
If-
That's good enough to get you out.
Look at that. Well, at least you have a top 3 pick
5
next year.
wins,
And
man.
I actually don't think Arch Manning will probably be in the draft next season. So that's tough.
Oh, yeah.
As it
I-
talks.
Hey, if I'm Arch, I don't want to go.
I agree. I think he won't. I think he's going to wait till 2027 to get drafted.
I love that prediction, and we can definitely touch on that later.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
oh man, this has been very fun, Irving.
Absolutely.
This has been a solid episode 1, and thank you all for tuning in, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever it may be, however you may be listening or watching this podcast. We thank you guys that you cared enough to get to this point, to get to the 73rd, almost 74th minute of this podcast. And it's been fun, man. I enjoyed it. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you guys hit that like button, click subscribe, and be on the lookout for future episodes. Our next episode will be next week. And just to give you guys a little bit of a teaser, it's going to be revolving teams that are eligible for the number 1 overall pick. So this will be the unofficial start to our predictions. I think that it's important that we get the bad teams out right out the gate. This is probably going to be the most coverage that we give these teams all season long. And, we want them to feel loved. We want bad teams to feel loved.
I want my team to feel love for sure. Go Browns. Go Cleveland. We'll see what goes from there.
Who knows? Maybe Cleveland made the cut. I don't know, but you're just gonna have to wait and see.
We'll see. Absolutely, man. But
For sure.
it's been fun, Johnny. Share with your friends. Can't wait for the start of this great season we're gonna have. Even if the
Amen.
Browns suck, I'll be looking forward to this podcast. So
Absolutely.
that's good.
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we have 3 weeks, 21 days. Just stick around a little longer. We're almost there, y'all.
Amen.
We are almost there for the greatest sport on earth. Anyways, thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon.
See ya.